Right. Oakley dokley there. Idly hodly. Yeah, give a little cough for the camera. Going on a little drive. Just you and me and your insecurities. Going on a drive. Where are we going? I don't know. We're going to Placeland. I want to talk to you today about the dangers of not having situational awareness. Alright, what's SA? Sexual abuse? No. Demonetized immediately. SA? Is that a gangster? Is it no? SA? Is that how you write a term paper? An essay? No. SA, as in situational awareness. What does that mean? It means being aware of what is actually going on at any given moment. So like there's a hawk. Right, let's check out the hawk. Let's talk to the hawk. The hawk is like, what are you doing, my guy? Okay, so there's a hawk. Okay, be aware of that. We got some birds. See the birds? Right? Some swallows eating skeeters. Got some cattle. Got a gang of these, like, what are those, starlings or something? I can't tell. I'm driving. Trying to be situationally aware here. Okay, I got a narrow road. Got a minivan coming up. I got the minivan, big boy. Okay. It's a tight turn. I got to be aware of that. Knowing what is actually happening at any given moment. That dude has a property line and he don't want people on it. Posted. Know this. Okay, so there's an easement. We have an easement because there's power lines. We could hang out there. Somebody will say in the chat that I can't, but anyway, we will end up hanging out on a trust and believe and receive. Trust, receive, and believe that we will hang out on a power line easement at some point. That will happen. We may or may not do it in motorized vehicles. Situational awareness. See these little skid marks? That dude went off the road. Why did he go off the road? He wasn't aware. Or maybe if we were more situationally aware, we would see that those skid marks were too narrow of a wheelbase for a car. So that dude had a little side-by-side. Did he access his own property in that side-by-side? Or did he go on somebody else's? Interesting. You know. Yeah. So, let's cool down. I got leaves falling. Coming up on the end of summer a little bit. Still hot. It's hottest in August. You know. There's, you know, again, narrow roads, whatever. Just knowing what it is, man. What's haps? What's the haps, paps? We got some stuff, you know. What are the dangers? You know, you can never be like too hyper vigilant. You can be so hyper vigilant that you miss, you know, I don't know. Maybe, did you guys see the werewolf there? No? Okay. You missed it. So, you can only do the best that you can. Try to keep your head on a swivel. So, I work for a company. That company has a building. It has multiple buildings, but the building it has is one I work in. And today, at that company, was just literally across the street. So, like, if you come out the main driveway, one of the main driveways, you end up in a shooting, you know, an active shooter. Some guy shot at his wife, domestic disturbance, there was a standoff, it was like 6 cops posted up. All of that is happening. Hold up, we gotta be situationally aware of this 4-way stop. Look at that house, it's pretty. Isn't it pretty? I wonder if he, you know, owned people back in the day. I don't know. Probably owns horses now, so it's fine. Oh, look at the flowers. There's stuff happening right now. But yeah, anyway, so a gang of cops, man. You got one cop doing traffic control. Everybody else is like, trying to deal with the shooter. Eventually it was resolved. Nobody was hurt. Whatever. But that could have went sideways real quick. You could have went on property. You could have ended up in the buildings. You could have, been trying to flee apprehension of the law. Could have been doing some stuff. He could have been doing some things, and he wouldn't have been doing work things. He would have been doing fight for his life because he ain't trying to go back to jail kind of things, And do you know how many people were just completely oblivious that was even happening?
Really? I didn't know.
So it's not like a huge indictment. I didn't know about it right away. It wasn't until I think I went on my break, or I don't know, maybe I got a message, but some kind of catalyst. But I went outside and I was like, yo, what is this? And it was probably, and then, even when I like kind of cued people in, like, hey, listen, just be aware this is what's happening right now currently. In other words, there's about to be a two-way firing range within less than like a couple hundred yards. Like, I don't know what this dude was shooting at his wife with. Maybe it's a 380, and, we'll be okay, maybe? Hey, you guys aware? Did you see that? Did you see the moving sale? That might be a thing. It's not all. It's not situational awareness. Is not always a bad thing. Aware of the bad. It's the good too. You can miss opportunities. An opportunity lost because you didn't pay the cost of being aware of what is actually happening in your actual physical space. So, something to consider. So yeah, I just want to talk about that. I'm not going to harp on it too much. People do. I think it's a skill. It's a little bit of an art, but I think it's a skill, and I think it's a depreciable skill too. Maybe not like immediately, like but in the last video I was talking to the battle. Oh, you let me in? Oh, see, oh. That was nice. That was very nice. Thank you. A little wave in the rear view. Felt a little bit fruity, just saying. Anyway, but that was cool. Situational aware, man. You got to be aware. If I didn't pay attention and see that wave, I would have missed an opportunity. So, yeah, man. Just stay frosty. Stay frosty. Stay sharp. We have a lot of distractions. My videos might be a distraction. That's okay. It's okay to be distracted. Sometimes reality is brutal, and constantly bombarded with reality can be rough. Sometimes it's good to have an escape. But, they still throwing live rounds out here. It doesn't mean you have to be like super afraid constantly, get your cortisol up. That doesn't have to be a thing, but I think at the same time you lack balance if you just think bad things never happen. I was shocked. Like, my boss was like, oh yeah, that's old news. Like, no, that's not old news, lady. Yeah, that started at a certain point this morning, but that was not resolved until like closer to afternoon, as in the most updated story is only 4 hours old on this. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I literally just went out there not long ago and was talking to the cop that was doing traffic control, and they had just apprehended the suspect. Like, at that point, it was not a threat. But at no point was she concerned. She's a victim. A victim, homie. You're a victim. And so, but she's so confident. Super confident. I can't get into the deets. I can't get into the deets, but let's just say we're not Fort Knox. So, don't let that be you, right? Just try to be semi-present, develop your skills, again, you can't, hypervigilance will wear you down. You can't be super vigilant all the time. You know, if you're defending a fortress and another person's attacking that fortress, the defender doesn't always have the advantage. And you would think, well, they got high walls and, you know, these fortifications, and, you know, the terrain is set up in such a way, like maybe that fortress is on top of a hill and it, you know, allows for visibility. You got to climb to get up to it. You know, maybe it has a moat, you know, physical barriers, whatever. Yeah, cool, but like he knows you're there, right? And he's observing you, or she, or whatever, a lady attacker or something. So the attacker chooses when to attack. We're starting to see some more of these things, like happening in New York, like these shooting events. People are just getting crazier, man. It's not getting, it's not going to get less. Not going to be less incidents. They're giving out more mind-altering drugs. Oh, you having a bad day? Here's an SSRI, serotonin reuptake inhibitor. It'll be fine. You know? Oh, you having trouble sleeping? Here's some, you know, drugs that you definitely shouldn't take, and then, you know, drive around in a state of half asleep, half awake, sleepwalking, you know, daydream, mania, nightmare. But that happens. I dated this chick, and she would take those sleeping pills. You know, I'll pretend I don't know the brand or whatever, but like she's taking these sleeping pills, but then she want to go to sleep right away. And she's like half dozed off, trying to fry eggs because she's hungry. And she's like burning herself and stuff and just being weird. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? So when you see something crazy happening, because like let's say your situational awareness is up and you see something happening, you got to ask yourself, like, what am I seeing? You know? And if you see something pretty twisted, you might think, oh, okay, that's evil. And then somebody will be like, nah, fool, that's not evil, dude. Let's not get extra. That's not evil. That's just stupid. Never attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence. Okay, but there's other options. It's not just evil and stupid. What about drugs? What about mental health? Right? A lot of times, that's the other component, you know? It's not evil or stupid, or maybe it's both. Maybe it's stupid evil, you know? I don't know. What I'm saying is just stay frosty. These events are not going to happen less. There's not going to be less school shootings, less mosque attacks, less synagogue attacks, less high school. Any place where they say, like, you have a thing and it's got like a metal detector, that's definitely a setup. Or like they got a thing and it says no weapons here, right? Okay, the active shooter doesn't care. He does not care. He's going to kill the guards. He's going to shoot them. They're not ready. You're not ready. Right? They're not ready. They're about their day-to-day. You know, they're just doing their thing. So they're not ready, you know. Retention holster. When's the last time they've been practicing their draw drills? Right? Their threat escalation matrix, you know, probably, you know what I mean? So, and then you got some psychopath, or you got a dude that's already depressed. You ever see the commercials for those drugs? They're like, hey, are you depressed? Take this drug that takes like a month to kick in, and then side effects are like homicidal thoughts and suicide. What? Say what? Nah, dude, I was depressed, but like now you want me to take zombie drugs to my brain that are gonna... You might have just been feeling bad because your girlfriend dumped you, and now, or you didn't have a girlfriend or whatever, but now you're feeling some kind of way. You know, you're feeling like you're not feeling at all. It ain't even you. It's the drugs taking over. So anyway, just stay frosty. You know, and these people are crashing out more and more. we don't have a dueling culture anymore. So people don't really throw hands. Not so much. And if you do throw hands, it's caught on camera immediately. So people feel like they can't lose. Back in the day, if you got in a fight or something, at the bar or the wherever, and you caught a beating, you could be like, nah, it wasn't that bad. You should see the other guy. Well, that don't work anymore. Because everybody is on the internet world star, and they're going to see that thing forever. Cat Williams, famous comedian. The guy is like a genius. Some buff little 13-year-old, I said little, dude was big. Cat Williams is not a big guy. But anyway, he got knocked all the way out. By some 13-year-old. Well, that 13-year-old had nothing to lose, much to gain in his brain. He had a capitalist migraine. So he was trying to get a come up. He hits Cat Williams, and, it's a wrap. Like, if he catches a beating, Cat Williams is going to be reluctant, going to be like, oh, I don't want to beat up on a kid. That kid don't care. You're under 18, you won't be doing any time. Right? So, it is what it is. But anyway, that dude's never going to live that down. If I ever met Cat Williams, I probably wouldn't let it down. That's mean, Hey, Cat Williams, remember the time 13-year-old knocked you all the way out? Anyway, so people are afraid to fight. They don't want to throw hands. They don't want to duel. And if you get caught, like, let's say Cat Williams did uppercut that kid. Let's say it went the other way. Say Cat Williams socked that kid because dude's flexing on him, running up, talking trash. I'm gonna knock you out, Cat Williams. And Cat Williams is like, no, you're not. And he gives him a stiff uppercut. What happens? Cat Williams is a villain. Right? So there's no plausible deniability anymore. There's traffic cameras everywhere. It's hard to throw people uppercuts these days, man. You just can't do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just harder, And everybody ain't nobody want to catch a beating. Nobody's trying to catch a beating. I don't want to catch one, but it's like, and the people who fight the least, and talk the most about it, you can tell, bro, they got soft hands. Anyway, I've caught beatings before. I may or may not have, for legal reasons, definitely have never thrown anyone a beating. But I can tell you for sure, I've caught them. Maybe I didn't get knocked out, but, I got some shots where, Anyway, but there's no plausible deniability. There's no plausible deniability. Cameras everywhere. Everybody's got them on their phone. Front-facing, rear-facing. So, and the situational awareness is weird. And if you do, like, let's say you catch a beating, get knocked out, maybe hit your head, you're not going to die right then, but you're going to die later that night. So, people are filming it. World star. People don't act. Hey, dude, that dude hit his head. Let's get him to the hospital. It's called the amber lamps. It's called the ambulance, Nope. Let's film it, So it's situational awareness. You can only be so aware, but work on it. It's a skill, That hawk. You see that hawk earlier? I don't know if you guys caught that. I don't know if the camera picked that up, but that hawk, dude has to be aware. He's got to know where his next meal's coming from. Little birds that attack him because they don't like him near his nest. Predator cannot take an L. If he goes for a snake, that snake comes up and bite him, he's not big enough to absorb that he's dead. So he's got to pay attention to the snake that he eats. And if he does go for a venomous snake because he's desperate, he's got to make sure he's got that head under control. So just got to be aware. Every situation has a different, like, are these Karens? What are we doing? We don't know. Are they going to be offended if they see something filming? Right. So maybe you go a different way. Yeah, is that werewolf in that bush? Let's go take a look. Let's go look at some stuff. What opportunities are we missing? It's not just danger. It's also what opportunities are you missing. And any food up in this beast? What do we got? Anybody recognize these plants? Something flowering here. It's not a day's eye. What is that? Check this out. Yeah. A grasshopper makes for good fishing bait, just saying. Those are kosher. I wouldn't want to eat them, but wouldn't be afraid to touch them. Leaves of tree, beware of me. If you see, you know, make sure you get some poison ivy, poison oak. Here's a wild rose. Check this out. Even beautiful things have thorns. But I'm gonna tell you what. Now this isn't flowering right now because the deer probably, deer have been eating this. But man, I tell you what, man, rose flowers are good, and the less fragrant, the better. Because when they got too much fragrance on them, hear that side by side? See, that's security. Security. Is that a hackleberry? No, I don't know what that is. I don't eat berries, I don't know what they are. We got some walnut. Walnuts. It's not the right time for walnuts. But this tree would be a potential source of food. Yeah, stay frosty. Don't be afraid to get out. Get out in the world. But every samurai, when he leaves his dojo, has like 10 enemies just right outside the gates. So you just gotta know that. Just keep your head on a swivel, man. Why don't you guys talk about in the comment section the time? Let's talk about L's. I don't want to hear about the wins. One time I did a super cool thing, and then I did a thing, and it was. I don't care. I don't care about that. Feel free to make fun of anybody if they say. But if you did a thing where, like, you caught an L, like I say, you got your wallet jacked. I'll tell you, I'll start it off. I was in Arizona in the Superstition Mountains, hiking by myself. I had some water, but probably not enough. And I'm in some, it's like harvest ranch. Look at these ants. Yeah, it was just in a weird spot. And got kind of, I'm going on an adventure, bro. I'm trying to find the Wasatchman's gold. But it's a bad idea. I didn't tell anybody I was going. Yeah, I mean, it's so hot. Just outside of Phoenix. And they have a thing, it's called a cholla, also known as a jumping cactus. And I caught a cactus right in my ankle. And the reason I call it a jumping cactus is it feels like you were nowhere near anywhere where you should have caught a cactus. And they're like round balls and they blow in the wind, kind of. Anyway, so I got this cactus in my leg, like near my ankle. And the way that I caught it in was in such a way that it was hard to get out. I think I maybe had a knife on me or something, but I didn't have pliers. I didn't have like a multi-tool. So I was underprepared, wasn't situationally aware. I had to walk all the way out of the mountains. And I didn't live too far from there at that time. I lived on BLM land, near BLM land, I should say. And, yeah, man, I'm having to walk past like where all the javelina are at and everything, and cactus in my leg. Couldn't really get it out with the tools that I have. You're not going to grab it. You could try to hack at it with a knife and you're just getting it in deeper, and it's weird angles. Some more wild rose. I got people rolling up behind me. And I don't want to have them ear hustle our stuff. Yeah, of course they stop. Okay, this is super slick right here. Talk about situational awareness. Bruh, wet mossy rocks are not the future. Now these dry ones, a little bit better. You always want to check your purchase. Like I feel it before I throw all my weight on it. I don't really like. And like if there's like a shelf, you want to look out for snakes or copperheads. Like to get up under. A lot of people get struck by snakes where they reach or step to a place they can't see. Yeah, let's go down the stream a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, I cut a cactus. You know, it wasn't that big of a deal. I got home, got on the porch. You know, I had some pliers and whatnot. See that? There's a little frog. Pretty sure that's what I was seeing. Take these shades off. This is super cool. I like the way the rock is right here. This is nice. Mosquitoes aren't too bad. Mosquitoes aren't too bad. Battle chat. Battle brethren. You filthy fools. I shouldn't call you fools. That's mean. Was a fool. Never graduated high school. So, I mean, this is not like super rough right here, but I'll tell you another story where I took an L, or almost took an L. Water sources are where prey and predators come. See these little school of fish? Oh, there's a crawdad, little crawdad. Oh, yeah, that's so cool. See him? Yeah, look at that little fish. He's like, what's up, homie? Don't ask me what kind of fish these are. I don't know. Seem to be too big to be minnows. Tiny trout, maybe? Little stripers? They're cool, though. Not big enough to catch, but they're just cool to watch. I like little stream fish. I'm a sucker for this stuff. Okay. What was I got distracted by fish. Fam. My bad. Oh. I'll probably save the whole story for another video because it's long, but I don't want to wrap this up before it gets too long. But long story short, water source like this. I'm not going to say uncharted territory because it's charted, but people hadn't been there in a long time. We're talking probably since like 1800s out west. Near the Lost Coast, up on the top of a mountain, in a stream like this, nerding out on some frogs, some potentially new, not endangered frogs, but like maybe new species of frogs. Like, oh, this would be cool. Talk to the biologist about that. Anyway, and I got down low, wasn't paint high grass. See how there's kind of high grass, not like this. Like I can kind of see through this a little bit better, but like ferns, like you get, you know, some redwood groves, stand of trees. Grass is higher than this and harder to see, although this is kind of hard to see too. Okay, and I have a good sense of where I'm at. Civilization is like directly behind me. I could back up into this bramble and I'd be all right. But like imagine that wasn't here and there's like a stretched behind me, glen, trees up in the back. And I get down real low, and I'm looking at the tracks. And I'm checking out the tracks, and I'm saying, oh, wow, you know, what's been here? Seeing if maybe people, deer, cougar kitties, whatever. And speaking of cougar kitties, as I get down real low, I hear a growl. I can't really do it. I'll try to do it. It was like a something like that. Not quite like that, but just big cat growl, bro. And it was behind me. So like imagine kind of like that, right? But I was facing the other way, and I was low. A lot of times the predators, you want to make yourself look bigger. And I realized in that moment, what an idiot. You know, I hadn't cleared that out. I hadn't, you know, I'm always pretty aware of what's happening behind me. But thing is, man, cats, you'll go in a section, and you'll come back and you'll see kitty cat tracks in your tracks. Like, you rarely see cougar. They be in trees and stuff, and they pretty much don't want to be seen. They're not going to be seen. Real rare. Anyway, so I could have caught an L. That cat followed me the whole, I guess I'm telling the whole story, but I'll keep it short, man. That cat followed me the whole way down, and I never saw him, but I hear him every once in a while, the duff. You know, I started getting real quiet with my walking. I can do that if needed. And anyway, but I heard him every once in a while. Hear a little crack, crack. Because it had just rained and the duff was real wet. So you could get through pretty quietly, but every once in a while, you'd hear like a twig snap. I would double back, set up like a J-hook ambush type stuff, you know. And he just, he followed me all the way down to my truck. Get me off his mountain and out of his little hunting area with his water hole. So that was me not being situationally aware. Should not have crouched at that. Like, I got these people, I just say as an introvert, like, people always trying to be where you're at. They just came from here. Why are they doubling back? Who knows? People are bored. They just want to be involved in what you're doing. Ow, look at that schoolfish. Cool. Look, if you know what that is, let me know. It looks like, if I had to guess, some type of striper. A little guy. What's all, guys? We're following the big fish. They figure he knows what he's doing. Okay. That honeysuckle takes over everything. Alright. So, yeah, talk about in the comments a time where you took an L. It could be in the street, it could be in the woods, it could be with Pecker Woods, it could be with whatever, bro. Classroom. Any type of situation where you took an L because you weren't paying attention. And I think it's important for everybody we gotta talk about our losses too. We'll have other opportunities where we talk about all the cool stuff we do. But, you know, let's talk about because then people can see, like, oh yeah. And when you start, because here's the thing, man, we made it out, right? We're still alive. So we can learn from that. Check this tree out. This tree is sick. Love this tree. Right here next to the Frisbee golf. People walk past this tree all the time. They don't even know what they're looking at. That is cool. This part of the country used to have American chestnut and all kind of really cool trees back in the day. Huge sycamores. Over harvesting, chestnut blight, that kind of poor forestry. Just now you don't see a lot of cool trees anymore, man. People, listen, man. I'm for the responsible cutting of timberlands. I really am. But you can't just clear cut stuff, dude. That's my opinion. You guys can argue about that in the chat too, but I think you know I'm right. There's ways to do it, man. You can have a cool timber harvest plan, and you know, I don't know that you need to save the whole forest for an owl, you know, but I think you can keep some of your better trees, some of your old growth. You know, like I said, responsible forestry. Get rid of some of the underbrush, you know, so that way the deer have a better habitat. Probably want to keep some of the old growth and some of the underbrush too, because their habitats. Here's the thing, situational awareness. Always spider webs on the trail. Look at this. Every time. First on the trail, first one to get the spider webs. You having that ugly looking spider. Sorry, bro, but you are ugly, dog. Alright, calm down. Relax, buddy. Just because I don't know if you can see him. I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up. He's like, I'm a mimic. I'm camouflage. Don't call me ugly. Don't do that. Sorry, bro. I mean, alright. I'm sure your mama loves you, bro. Yeah, just be aware if you can. Watch out for snakes. Two-legged snakes, too. Well, I ain't got a whole lot to say to you guys. I'm just rambling at this point. But I wanted you guys to think about situational awareness, and I wanted you to think about times where you took an L. Did you catch a beating because you weren't paying attention? You didn't read the social cues? Did you do like I did and catch a cactus? Did you get bit by a snake? Did you get trapped in a cul-de-sac in the wrong hood? You know, what'd you do? Come on now. Confess on it. Confess in the chat. Please don't confess to crimes in the chat. If you did crimes, none of us want to know. Go tell your attorney. Alright, till next time. Hopefully there's a next time.